Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So we have another Resident Evil video, and this time it's actually PAX West 2025. They actually held a panel for Resident Evil Requiem. So I kind of want to watch this to see if there's anything like worth noting, see if there's anything new, if they added like small details or something for the game, something we don't know about yet, maybe new information. I've never watched this panel myself, but let's move on to the video.
Resident Evil Requiem.
Put this up a little tiny bit. There we go.
So today we're going to be talking about Resident Evil Requiem through the lens of what's already been shared, using the rich history of this series to guide us through this discussion, if you will. Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline installment of the series, and it is coming out in just
technically
almost
10th?
about like 6 months.
We're
6
counting
months,
zero.
you guys. That's crazy. I never thought I'd be saying that, by the way, but in just 6 months. It also coincides with the 30th anniversary of the Resident Evil series overall. So 30 years ago, Resident Evil Requiem redefined survival horror. It has been
what does
one
it
of
say
the
here? It says Resident Evil celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Unforgettable characters, viral outbreaks, and impossible odds. A community has been built of passion fans around the world. Special piece of art to show to commemorate this occasion.
Enduring and genre-defining games in gaming history, really. It's terrified so many of you, including me. It terrified a lot of generations
years
across
is crazy.
almost every
I still
single
can't
platform
believe
out
it's been
there.
30 years.
Met so many characters, we've survived so many viral outbreaks, or not survived viral outbreaks, and we've beaten some impossible odds. But more importantly, the community is what really keeps everything going. For 30 years, it's 30 years of cosplay, 30 years of speedrunners, 30 years of streamers, of artists of all kind, and you guys that are just sitting here right now, we're all part of the Resident Evil community, so thank you so much for showing up.
Don't forget the mods.
So this anniversary is more than just a milestone for us. It is our way for us to look back, but also to look forward. And Resident Evil Requiem kind of embodies that whole concept. It is a celebration of the legacy, but also it is what's next. What's next because it is the next installment of the series. As part of our 30th anniversary, we actually unveiled a really cool art that I'm going to show you right now.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a cool ass art.
If you haven't seen it, there's some really, really cool details in here that kind of just embodies.
This was actually picked out by, I think, the top 5 most voted for like favorite Capcom Resident Evil characters. Leon was number 1. I believe Jill was number 2, and I think 3rd was Chris. 4th was Claire, and then 5th was Ada, and then right after Ada was Wesker, which is funny.
It said 30 years of Resident Evil.
Go to the website or
socials to get a better look at this, but we're going to continue on.
Okay, then it says Resident Evil Requiem embodies the legacy of the series and also moves it forward. Designed for series fans as well as newcomers looking for a scare. Along with the art we just revealed, there will be special collaborations throughout the year. Keep an eye out. Okay.
So as part of the 30th anniversary, we have a bunch of special collaborations and activations throughout the year, so keep an eye on our channels or wherever you get your Resident Evil news. All right, so Resident Evil is, it embodies everything I already said, but I want a raise of hands. How many of you have played at least 3 Resident Evils?
Wait, what does it say? Raise your hands if hands singular if you're Ethan and Mia just cut off your, oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot, Joe. You have to? Awesome. How many of you played at least 7? That is the same amount of people. That's crazy. And how many of you have played no Resident
Fans of our
at
games?
all? Amazing. That is also totally cool. So Resident Evil
Which is funny because like there were a few streamers I would visit on Twitch. A lot of them kind of said the same thing. Like the few streamers I went into, they said that they like Resident Evil, and this is like from a casual standpoint. They like the remakes more than 7 and 8. So that's kind of crazy. That's insane.
Is for everyone who raised their hands or everyone who didn't, and thank you for coming again, because this game is really just a celebration of the entire series.
there's still going to be people in this generation there that's going to have Requiem as like their first Resident Evil game. They're going to go back to play 7 and 8 and kind of experience that game, which is crazy because now we have like games to go back to that's like Requiem, and it's 7. I remember when 7 came out, for new fans, there were newer fans that were like, damn, like I really want to play more Resident Evil games that are like this. What other Resident Evil game can I play that is like Resident Evil 7? And people were just shrugging like, there is none. Like, you either get fixed camera or the third person experience. 7 was definitely unique on its own. Then Village came out, obviously, and then Requiem. So now when Requiem comes out, people can go back to play 7 and 8. Ooh, okay, there's more here. The protagonist of Resident Evil Requiem is Grace Ashcroft, a young FBI analyst. Okay. Lost her mother, Alyssa Ashcroft, 8 years ago. From here, okay. Unlike other protagonists in the series, Grace has a fearful personality. As scared as she is, yeah, I agree, but I wouldn't say no one else was like afraid. I feel like Rebecca was kind of, no, I don't remember that well. I think Rebecca was kind of scared in that aspect in a way. Grace's mindset combined with the emotional weight she carries shapes the unique tone of Resident Evil Requiem. Yeah, like the hyperventilation, all
Let's
that.
talk more about Requiem's story. This game takes place in Raccoon City after the Raccoon City incident.
She was hyperventilating in that one scene.
The government decided to wipe Raccoon City off the face of the planet to contain the threat. Just something small like that. But you play as Grace Ashcroft. She's a young
Wait,
FBI.
what did he say? Let's go back a bit.
The government decided to wipe Raccoon City off the face of the planet to contain the threat. Just something small like that.
Why is he mentioning that? Am I crazy? Does that have like some sort of relevancy to like the story of RE Requiem? Why are we talking about like the Raccoon City incident like that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into
But
into
you
it
play
way
as
too
Grace
deep.
Ashcroft. She's a young FBI analyst. She knows how to use a gun, but she's not like a battle-hardened soldier by any means. She's also made very introverted because she lost her mother 8 years ago. And unlike other heroes that you might know from Resident Evil, she is very scared. She has a very fearful personality, and you might have seen this fearful personality if you play the demo in third person, as she kind of just like stumbles along the hallways. Her breathing intensifies. She's scared. But how many of you have actually played the demo? Amazing. And
Yeah, that's one of the aspects I do like about Grace. Her being afraid. Like, we actually have a character that's actually extremely scared. That's like reacting according to what she sees physically, which is super cool.
as people were walking out, I would kind of ask them to describe the demo in one word. A lot of people said just scary or terrifying, which is exactly what we're going for. Grace she's a very determined person. She excels in almost like analysis and reasoning, but sometimes she might be too focused to the point where she might not listen to what other people have to say to her. But we can't talk about Grace without mentioning her mother, Alyssa Ashcroft. Alyssa Ashcroft is from Resident Evil Outbreak. Anyone here?
Grace's mother, Alyssa Ashcroft, was a playable character in Resident Evil Outbreak. She survived Raccoon City. Okay, Alyssa left Knots through investigation in Resident Evil 7. Interesting. So this is relevant towards the new game. Okay, I mean, we kind of knew this already, but now this is new information. This is actually confirmed now that whatever she was investigating, it was definitely because of this letter she left behind. I think this was like a newspaper or something like that, no? In RE7? We have to read this too. She survived the Raccoon City incident and continued working as a journalist trying to uncover Umbrella's dark side. Right, yes, that's definitely why she probably, might have gotten another peek at Grace and Alyssa's relationship at Gamescom about a week ago. Okay, so what it says here is, let me see if I can read it from here. The majority of those missing are tourists and migrants. Is that what it says? Wait, give me like 1 second to read this, pull this up. Okay, here we go. So it says the majority of those missing are tourists and vagrants, not migrants. It was vagrants. At least 20 people are thought to have gone missing so far. At least 20 people are thought to have gone missing so far. So these 20 people can actually reappear in Resident Evil Requiem once again. And this was in January 19th, 2016. Then it says police suspect foul play and believe there may be a connection between the incidents, plans are in place to step up local interrogations and increase personnel to further the investigations. I don't want to look deep into this as much as there is already because we don't know anything, but why do I have a huge feeling that Mia Winters is going to come back somehow? Maybe I'll explain it after the video. I think we should do that. We should definitely explain it after the video.
Here, actually play Outbreak. That's quite a bit. For the Outbreak fans, you might have seen Alyssa's notes in Resident Evil 7, but if you haven't seen the notes, go ahead and boot up the game, or you can just look at the screens around me. You can see the notes right there. But like heroes similar to Claire or Leon or Jill or Carlos, she did survive the Raccoon City incident. She is very determined. She hates to lose. And more than that, Alyssa, after the Raccoon City incident, she continued to investigate Umbrella and all their darker machinations.
That'll do it.
As for what happened to Alyssa and Grace 8 years ago, you might have seen a little snippet of that during Gamescom Opening Night Live, where we showed a touching moment between them. Alyssa would say, "You are my hope," and this bond between them, this impact, this emotional turmoil that Grace has to go through, that's the emotional core of the story.
The story in Resident Evil Requiem begins with Grace receiving orders from her superior, sending her to the Wrenwood Hotel. So this is in Rhodes Hill. This is in Arklay County, right? Where's the Wrenwood Hotel? They never necessarily confirmed it was in Raccoon City. They just said it's somewhere in the US. I'm thinking of the hospital, I'm sorry. The hospital is in Rhodes Hill, which is in the Arklay County. Wrenwood Hotel, I don't think we have a confirmation where that's at yet. It's definitely not in Raccoon City, according to a lot of things I've been reading. Or it could be, who knows? Maybe it's right outside of Raccoon City. We really don't know where the hotel is located in. I always thought it was in Raccoon City at first, but survival horror experience built around pacing, tension, and story. Really swap between first and third person. Play the demo right here at PAX West. Nice.
This Resident Evil Requiem starts when Grace's superior tells her to investigate a strange death in the Wrenwood Hotel. And the Wrenwood Hotel is exactly where her mother died. So it's a pretty tall order, but this emotional response, as I said, is what gets the game going. Grace will soon find out that this strange death she's investigating might be tied to the Raccoon City incident, and it might also be tied to past biohazards in unexpected ways.
The Raccoon...
Be tied to the Raccoon City incident.
The Raccoon City incident? What does that even mean? Why would a death in Requiem 30 years later be tied to... Or why would that be tied to that happening at Wrenwood Hotel? Does she know some other secret? I don't understand. That's crazy.
And it might also be tied to past biohazards in unexpected ways. Requiem is not really just about telling older stories. Like the subtitle says, it is a requiem for the past. It is Grace facing her past, Alyssa's death and Grace's growth. These two, we can't wait to see what you guys think. And this is not a multiplayer game like Outbreak. This is a single-player, narrative-focused game. You don't have to play any of the previous Resident Evils, but if you have, we hope you enjoy just how this game threads itself into like the larger tapestry of this series.
As expected.
And right here at PAX West, you can play the demo, and hopefully we're still here today and tomorrow, so if you haven't gotten a chance to play it, hopefully you can jump in tomorrow. You can play this game in first or third person and switch pretty seamlessly. We kind of recommend first person for a more immersive experience, and we recommend third person for what I would say to see Grace in how scared she is and everything. So how many of you would play this game in first person?
I'm still stuck on the fact that they are sending Grace. If that murder was happening because of an event of Raccoon City that happened 30 years prior, why are they sending Grace and not someone like Jill, Leon, Claire, someone who has like some sort of this connectivity with that whole incident, like a heavy connectivity? I'm convinced that an OG is coming back, I'm gonna be honest, and it'll make sense to have you know who in, government agent. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Remember that, Joe. Okay. All right. And how about third person? I would say it's pretty even. So we've done this poll on our socials, and it's super fun for us. I think third person is usually the one that wins out, but I think it depends on what day we do the poll, because It's kind of all over the place. As long as you guys enjoy it and you can play it with both, that's really all that matters.
Let me know in the comments what perspective you will pick. Will it be the first or the third person? I'm personally going for the third person because it's what I'm used to in the series. You guys already know why I like the third person my couple last videos. But I do want to play it in first person at some point in the future too, after I'm done with the third person.
So Resident Evil Requiem comes out on February 27, 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam. Again, if you haven't had the chance to play it, stop by our booth at PAX West. The lines are really long, but I hope you guys can make it in. We still have an entire day tomorrow, and it's Monday's usually, I guess, maybe less people than, say, yesterday. And that is all we have for the Resident Evil recap.
Nice, this was it, okay.
I am going to pass it off back to Joe.
All right, that was it there. So a few things I wanted to talk about. So we have this letter that says the majority of those missing are tourists and vagrants. At least 20 people are thought to have gone missing so far. Police suspect foul play and believe there may be a connection between the incidents. Plans are in place to step up local interrogations and increase personnel to further the investigations. And this is Alyssa Ashcroft, January 19th, 2026. Like I said earlier, I have a feeling that I just have this feeling that Mia Winters is somehow going to return. Because remember in the end of Village, they said the father's story was done. They said nothing about Mia, and it's kind of weird to not include Mia and have the connections involved when she had heavy ties towards the connections, you know, transporting Evelyn in that ship, and you know, just being mind controlled overall because of Evelyn and all that. Like, she has heavy ties to this whole incident, and for her to not be here because she knows a lot about this type of stuff is a little weird to me. Then I want to mention this. It says Alyssa Ashcroft reported this in January 19, 2016 and said that 20 people are missing in the last 2 years. And if we want to think about this, Ethan visits Louisiana by a message from Mia, who was actually missing for 3 years before, which take place in 2014 as well. That's 3 years before when Mia went missing. And also the fact that the Alyssa Ashcroft report for the 20 people are missing was 2 years, or in the last 2 years. It started in the last 2 years before 2016, is also in 2014. So is there like some sort of connectivity here? And also I do want to point out that we also have to consider this as well. Nakanishi was the writer of Resident Evil 7. We all know this. He was not the writer of Resident Evil Village. So everything that happened in Village, I don't think that was the intention for Nakanishi, because if you think about it, even Ada Wong was supposed to be in Village, and somehow she got cut out. We don't really know why exactly, but my guess is because if you're gonna have Leon in the next game, we can probably assume Ada will be as well. So Nakanishi was like, hey, like, can you not use Ada in this game because I'm going to utilize her for the next one? Maybe that was a thing. Maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass at this point, but it's kind of weird that both incidents are in 2014. Again, don't know if there's a connectivity there, but again, it's still in Louisiana. It was in the South where these people went missing. I believe there's like a document before this that says something like that. Yeah, it says over 20 missing in 2 years. Captain Howell from State Police told reporters that they have started a search for Helen Midkiff, a college student from North Carolina who was traveling in Louisiana. Miss Midkiff hasn't been heard of since the night of the 21st. Reports of missing persons in South Louisiana have increased dramatically in the past 2 years. Again, this was 2016 that this was reported. This was like the part one of that whole report that Alyssa Ashcroft initially just written. So I don't know if Mia is actually one of the 20 people missing, but I do think she has some sort of connectivity with this, and it's probably something separate because it was Evelyn who kind of brainwashed Mia. So it probably wasn't even connected at some sort, but it's still a good consider is what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's still worth looking into, even if it's completely wrong, because they're both in 2014. And they both went missing in Louisiana, in the South, generally the same area. So we really don't know what is happening with this. And that's 20 people. And as for the 20 people themselves, I really do think they're going to reappear in Requiem as those cultist guys with hoodies. Maybe it's those 20 people that actually gone missing and are like under some type of control from like a virus or something, who are now working for maybe the connections or whoever the big bad of this game is. We don't know. But all I'm saying is, it's worth looking into, because now we are in I don't know, the way how they kind of like just put that on screen, like, hey, like, we left a little nod here, because they definitely put that on screen because it's definitely a clue. It's 100% a clue. This definitely has to do something with Requiem, and it's crazy. I mean, we all thought that before, but we really didn't look into it or had this sort of timeline with it. But yeah, Mia went missing in 2014, and there were 20 people missing also in 2014 as well, so who knows what that means completely. But let me know in the comments, do you think Mia could be a possibility of returning? Do you think I'm just crazy? Just let me know in the comments. I'm just theorizing because, you know, timelines are connecting. Again, this could be just different instances, but when they connect like that, I even try to even consider it because you just never know. But as always, I want you guys to have an amazing day. If you guys like the content, make sure to like the video, and if you are new to the channel and you do not want to miss any more Resident Evil content, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you will not miss any more Resident Evil content. And most importantly, guys, please be safe out there, eat plenty of food, drink plenty of water, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next time, and until then, peace.